From Forbes breaking news, Marjorie Taylor Greene confronts top Fauci aide about, quote, how to make emails disappear. Email. And it's all completely criminal, corrupt communism from the start. And there's loads of controversy surrounding emails for many years now. And I like to see some of this follow up, but it is still highly unlikely that anything will happen to Fauci and his cronies because, of course, they are in charge. They call the shots. They're going to indict Donald Trump and put him in jail for farting in an elevator to distract from their criminal misdeeds. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
Because the algorithm is a beast and it would help me a lot if you engage with the content, and it will cost you nothing. But if you want to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description.
Georgia, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Morenz, your emails have been quite interesting. Reading them has been pretty shocking. On April 18th, 2020, you wrote an email saying, Peter Daszak emailed me and Tony, congratulating Tony on standing up for science. That email...
Oh, okay, so very early. April 18th, 2020, I believe was what she said. Thank you for standing up for science, right? I guess there is a large population of people who thought this was real from the beginning. Oh, trust the science, right? Even before there was a mask mandate, people were absolutely hysterical. We all remember the toilet paper hysteria.
Oh my God, the coronavirus is coming. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? There's no milk or bread. There's no water, no milk or bread. There's no shit paper. There's no shit paper. How am I gonna wipe my ass with no shit paper? You kidding me? There's no freaking toilet paper. Oh my God. I'm going into a panic. This is hysterical. Hysteria. I can't believe it. How am I gonna wipe my ass? Ah.
Now it looks completely crazy looking back on it. But of course, I knew from the beginning. That's a different story.
Email somehow fell into the hands of the congressman, probably via a FOIA of someone who didn't delete it, as I did, delete all of Peter's emails and others relating to the origin when the shit started hitting the fan. Anyway, the congressman got a copy of Peter D's emails from someone at NIH, and he now wants to get any reply Tony and I or anyone else may have sent back to Peter. Mine was erased long ago. I verified that today, and I feel pretty sure Tony's was too. The best way to avoid FOIA hassles is to delete all emails when you learn a subject is getting sensitive. In any case, there's nothing here except opportunities to hassle, harass, and huff and puff. You really got into some opportunities. You also wrote on June 16, 2020, you said, the FOIAs are dreadful and paranoia-inducing. In the old days, we had to do them ourselves by hand. I mean, finding and printing out thousands of emails coming in and going out. Now, they sometimes FOIA text messages, too. Many FOIAs turn up thousands of pages of docs, and of course, most of meaningless. We are all smart enough to know to never have smoking guns, and if we did, we wouldn't put them in emails. And if...
What? So, I mean... Obviously, we knew it was phony from the start, but this is actually really dark that they're having a discussion about, cleaning their tracks. And I think she did mention something about the origins, which I don't think even mattered. To be honest, obviously, I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, I'm no Dr. Fauci, but look, I don't want to get kicked off any platforms, but it was pretty clear. It is crystal clear as far as I'm concerned now that this is just the common cold with another marketing team. So you can talk about where it came from and funding and all this, but that's all just weirdo money laundering scam, right? I don't think there was some super villain behind the scenes, like creating a sickness to scare people. I think they just took what we already had and turned that, right? And we do remember, for the record, that it went from coronavirus to COVID-19 because that sounds much more scientific after somebody spotted the word coronavirus on the back of a Lysol bottle. And I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but it was pretty clear that it's similar, and they just use this to scare people through the roof. And of course, I thought it was all about Orange Man bad, but clearly now it is a much larger, wider, worldwide takeover. And here, I guess she is uncovering them having a conversation about keeping their misdeeds private.
If we found them, we'd delete them. You wrote on February 24th, 2021, you said, you were right, and I need to be more careful. However, as I mentioned once before, I learned from our FOIA lady here how to make emails disappear after I am FOIA'd. But before the search starts, so I think we are all safe. Plus, I deleted most of those earlier emails after sending them to Gmail. Dr. Morenz, who's your FOIA lady? Is it Hillary?
Yeah, but what? How they were conversating through Gmail, right? They can't even be bothered to use like a Proton Mail or some sort of governmental, highly secure email server. Like you're sending Gmails and text messages back and forth. I guess so.
Hillary Clinton? You're welcome.
Thank you for the humor. I think, you said about 10 things there, and my brain can't keep them all in my head, but I think I've answered.
Wait. She said 10 things that you can't keep in your head, but you're supposed to be the super famous, smart science doctor that was protecting the world, or are you just a criminal?
A lot of those questions. That the FOIA, I told you who the FOIA lady was. I told you what she told me. I told the committee that it's impossible to avoid a FOIA, and it's impossible to destroy an NIH document, an email document.
Well, clearly, because we've got your emails, and they're pretty shocking.
There you go.
I do appreciate humor as well, but you do receive a taxpayer paycheck, and when it comes to work emails, there's a lot of things that shouldn't.
And this is he is the epitome of like the deep state, right? David Morenz, who I've never actually heard of, but he's just a cog in the machine. One of the people that make this entire thing, trudge along and steamroll people.
By the way, if I understood what you just said, let me just say that a lot of government...
And let me just say that this guy, look, I don't know, it's hard for me to see with a clear lens because I just feel like it's all so corrupt and disgusting, but he kind of looks like a Batman villain. He's got this weird tie. I guess I make comparisons to Batman villains all the time, like San Francisco Mayor London Breed, right, who's constantly wearing like a purple suit or a blue suit. She looks like these people are just so villainous, and I can't see it through a different lens.
Emails come to my Gmail, stuff from CDC, my paycheck.
This is all related to your job, though, regardless of which email account. Like I said, Hillary Clinton had a private server as well, and she put a lot of things there, and somehow they disappeared. Dr. Morenz, you also wrote on October 5th, 2021, Peter, I just got news that the FOIA picked up an email I sent you saying that Tony commented he was brain dead. Jokingly, of course. However, Ron Johnson is all over it, and now after me. Tony will be pissed, rightfully so. I deleted the email, but I now learned that every email I ever got since 1998 is captured and will be turned over whether or not I instantly deleted it. Gmail, phone, text, I need to scrupulously rely on those exclusively. On July 22nd...
Yeah, and, I mean, what were they? They were literally just hiding the entirety of this scam. Like, what were you trying to cover up? Right? You were the smartest people in the room. You came up with all the rules and shut down schools. And then, of course, said, oh, well, social distancing, that was actually arbitrary. We don't know where it came from, which is, it's true in the fact that it's arbitrary and it never made any sense. And you still see, I kind of get, like, triggered. You see the, like, remnants of the stickers on the floor from time to time. It's like remnants of absolute tyranny. But, of course, it didn't work. And I guess the question is, and maybe she'll get to it, but what were you guys hiding, right? I mean, you were the science, right? Trust the science. I am science. When you go against Fauci, you're going against science.
Anybody who's looking at this carefully realizes that there's a distinct anti-science flavor to this. So if they get up and criticize science, nobody's going to know what they're talking about. But if they get up and really aim their bullets at Tony Fauci, well, people could recognize there's a person there, so it's easy to criticize. But they're really criticizing science because I represent science. That's dangerous. To me, that's more dangerous than the slings and the arrows that get thrown at me.
But also, men can get pregnant.
In 2020, this one was actually pretty interesting. I am actually imbibing a double, or is it a triple, martini at the moment. Not sure of the amount of ETOH because I just poured until my elbow got sore. But the olive at the bottom is hard to see. No hot tub in my condo. I tried to negotiate a jacuzzi, but they balked and I caved. In any case, now that I am divorced, what good is a hot tub or jacuzzi? If I am lucky enough to find a girlfriend, I will spring for a jacuzzi, upgrade my wine cooler, get a mattress that will take more of a pounding, and stop working so hard. In the meantime, I will work at my job of trying to make the boss look good. In the summer of 2020, COVID was raging.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. But this is also why they were incredibly okay with burning cities down and having giant rallies and peaceful protests, because it was all fake, right? So, I mean, we knew this. We absolutely knew this, and it is good for her to expose these things, but still, nothing's going to happen to Fauci. Nothing's going to happen to this little weirdo weasel guy. I mean, DJT's not going to do anything. Maybe he will. I don't know. If they don't get to him first.
And I personally believe that Peter Daszak at EcoHealth had a lot to do with the fact that COVID was raging, because experimenting on viruses that turn into basically a monster that has murdered millions and millions of people is something to take very seriously. I have one more question for you.
And I don't really even buy that. Right, like they put the death counter on the news, but nobody would have noticed. Obviously, I can't prove it now, but nobody would be, going about their daily life and just saying, all my friends, my parents, my family, they're all getting sick and people are dropping like flies. Nobody would have known that. I just don't think it was happening. And I think there's statistics from several years back about how there was more flu deaths. But that's a completely different story, of course. So everybody's going to use this like weirdo death scare tactic to their advantage, but I don't think any of it was real.
This is where you emailed and talked about kickbacks. This was on August 27th, 2020, after you were talking about covering up for Tony. You said, of course, there's a kickback. And then you also referenced a kickback on August 27th, 2020. You said, do I get a kickback? Too much fucking money? Do you deserve it all? Let's discuss. Have you made any money off of EcoHealth, off of COVID-19, and off of COVID vaccines, Dr. Morens? Then what were you talking about with kickbacks? That's not a joke. You were talking about kickbacks, and this is something that's very serious. As I said, millions of people died, and millions of people were forced to take a vaccine they should have never had to take against their will. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Wow, that's pretty crazy, and it is. I mean, obviously we still don't have the concrete truth. Nobody will ever tell us the truth. We will never know the full truth, but this is just more proof. I mean, think about like Hunter Biden. This is just more proof that they're going to do whatever the hell they want. This guy I've never even heard of. I'd be willing to bet that most people in the country have never even heard of this guy, and it doesn't matter because he's not going to face consequences now.